my name is Kelly Sotherton and I'm the team leader for the Birmingham 2022 Commonwealth Games, and I'd like to welcome you to England Athletics Regional Awards, where we'll be celebrating our sport and also the amazing volunteers across every role. I just want to say a really big good luck to everybody today, and I hope whether you're recognised or not, we all recognise how much effort you put into our sport to make it work. And more so this year, how difficult it's been with how the world has been with COVID-19. And we are truly thankful, and we obviously hope, it all gets better going forward from now. But please keep going. We need you, I need you, and hopefully we can have a great year over the next couple of years, even into 22 and every Olympics thereafter. And good luck, everybody.
Hello everyone, if you don't know me, my name's Clive Poyner. I'm going to be the host for this evening in my role as Chair of the East Region Council. Let me start by welcoming you all to the England Athletics East Region Volunteer Awards for 2020. Tonight we're going to recognise the hard work and commitment of all our volunteers that are the backbone of our sport. We have 9 categories to award this evening, including an award that recognises the resilience we've all needed as a result of the unprecedented pandemic. Before we start presenting the awards, I think it is essential and very important that you understand the process that has led us to this evening. Going back in June and July, England Athletics requests nominations to recognise the volunteers in our sport. They then compile the lists and submit them to the East Region Council, who use guidelines to review the nomination content and do the very best to score each section of the nomination. This is always a very difficult process and task, as in most cases it is almost impossible to rank one volunteer's commitment and dedication over another. In reality, all the nominated volunteers are actually the winners. Everybody puts 110% into our sport. People then recognise the contribution that are made, and subsequently they make applications and make nominations to show their appreciation. This year, the council had 60 plus nominations to go through across the counties of Essex, Hertfordshire, Bedfordshire, Cambridgeshire, Suffolk and Norfolk. We thank all the nominations for taking the time to write the nominations, and tonight we thank the runners and the winners in each category for their commitment to the sport. It is also important that you understand what the East Region Council is and what it does. The council members are all volunteers themselves and are drawn from each of the counties, and with cross-section of knowledge in club administration, coaching, officiating, inclusion, networks and competition provision. The council is the bridge between grassroots clubs and England Athletics. This year has been like no other for the council, with many meetings like this one trying to keep the sport together, and latterly supporting the permit process to enable competition to return with robust controls so that we can all enjoy competition in a safe manner. Having explained a little about the background for tonight's events, let's get going with the awards. We will introduce each category before announcing the runner-up. After giving some background to the runners-up achievements, we would like to talk to them for a few moments and congratulate them. We will then announce the winner of the award, give some details on why they're the winner. Again, should be a short video, hopefully, and we will then congratulate them and have a short chat. In all cases, obviously, if you are highlighted on the screen, please just remember to unmute yourself. As you can appreciate, the technology is like I'm in Norfolk, and lots of other people are all around the country, so hopefully this tech is all going to hang together. We had a bit of a dress rehearsal last night. It went okay, so we're fingers crossed it's all going to work tonight. So without more to do, let's move on to the presentations. So making the first 4 award presentations is my fellow councillor, Tim Cook. Over to you, Tim.
Thank you, Clive. Thanks very much. Thank you for your introduction. I'm delighted to be making these 4 awards. The first award of the evening is for athletic and running at home. 12 months ago, this award didn't exist, and England Athletics had never given it a thought, but with everything that's happened in the last 6 to 9 months, they felt very quickly that there needed to be some recognition for all the efforts that individuals or clubs have made to help support their members and the wider communities to stay active during the current global pandemic. And I'm delighted to say that the runners-up for this award for the East region are the lead coaches of Yaxley Runners and Joggers in Peterborough. So congratulations to Tracy Farrow, Duncan Jackson and Adrian Flintoft. In the nomination that we received, it was particularly highlighted that even before the pandemic started, Tracy, Duncan and Adrian were always incredibly busy trying to encourage all the club's membership, whether seniors or juniors, to take part in all sorts of different club events to make them feel really part of the club, no matter what age and whether they were just starting or an experienced member. But during lockdown, they took that to a new level, despite none of them being furloughed from their respective day jobs and all continuing to work throughout the pandemic. They worked constantly to energise members, suggest new ideas so that solo training didn't become boring, and set new inter-club challenges for both seniors and junior members. I know from personal experience that they had a huge turnout in a virtual 50-mile relay event that took place during the summer. And if that wasn't enough, when members weren't training, they were encouraged to join the club's weekly online quiz. And as one member said in the citation, "Thank you, Tracy, Duncan and Adrian, for your tireless work and ingenuity." And there we have, I was about to say, I think we should have Tracy Farrow on behalf of Yaxley. Tracy, many congratulations on being runner-up, along with Duncan and Adrian. Can you share some of the challenges? Let us know what these challenges were so that perhaps we can copy them at our own clubs.
Yeah, like you say, it was a challenging time for everybody, particularly trying to work. Like you say, we weren't furloughed, and lots of us having children to homeschool as well. For our juniors, we decided to hold a 100k challenge. So the children had to log their kilometres, and then when they had completed 100 kilometres in that lockdown period, they were awarded a medal for that. Duncan is also a fitness coach, so he was leading online isolation fitness sessions to kind of keep up morale. We had a virtual 5k series where our runners could post their times and kind of have a target to aim for and improve their timings. As the winter the season approached, we included other virtual events into that, like you say. And then Adrian was posting training sessions for our runners so that they could focus on their speed, so speed sessions, and then also 5k, 10k, half marathon training plans to just give people structure, really, to give them a purpose to train still. And at Yaxley, we are quite a social bunch, so we also wanted to include some non-running events. So we did have our weekly quiz nights, and we also tried to encourage our juniors to take part in that as well. So they, one week, they took over and they actually led the quiz night. And we have got a virtual Christmas party coming up too. So that's probably going to highlight the end of our year. So.
That sounds really good. Do you think all these different things that you've organised have actually brought the club closer together and perhaps brought the seniors and juniors closer together?
Yeah, I think for most of us at Yaxley, we were able to still carry on running, just solo running, and it got a little bit dull just to keep running by yourself, really. So we all missed our running buddies. So that was one thing that we really wanted to focus on, was that the morale of everybody in the club. And I think if we hadn't put them on, mental health would probably have suffered and morale would have been a lot lower. So motivation was the key, keeping people in contact, and our Facebook page is really key to our running club success, and weekly updates were vital, really, to keep us all in touch with each other. So yeah.
That's great. That's great. Well, many congratulations, Duncan. I can see you've popped up on the screen as well. So congratulations to you. And if Adrian is listening in as well, congratulations to him, and hope the good work continues. So many congratulations. Well done.
Thank you.
Well done. Thanks ever so much. I'm now going to move on to announce the winner of the category. The winner of the athletics and running at home for the Eastern region for 2020 is Isabel Mardell. So let me tell you a little bit about Isabel, or if she doesn't mind, Izzy, because on the citation it particularly said that she's known as Izzy to all her friends. So perhaps if I call her Isabel, it'll sound more like a school teacher or a mum, perhaps. She was described as an amazing young lady who, within a couple of weeks of lockdown, first starting back in March, started to worry about the other athletes in her group and her friends who she trains with, and how they'd be managing without the formal training night. So with that in mind, she set up her own online Teams group and invited them to join her for a workout 4 nights a week. This, by all accounts, grew and grew and grew. Lots of athletes thought it was a great idea. And so Izzy started to plan different weekouts each week to focus on specific areas of the body, such as core, arms, legs, cardio, etc., and researched the routine to explain them fully to those taking part. All this, I have to say, in addition to continuing with her schoolwork and training ourselves for hurdles and sprinting. After the sessions, many of the group stayed online for a social catch-up, and Izzy also took the opportunity to explain how modern technology worked to her coach so that he could join the group each week and keep an eye on what they were doing and the plans that Izzy was setting for them. I've taken the opportunity to have a look at the Power of 10 for Izzy, and she's clearly also a super athlete, but her efforts during lockdown suggests that she's a coach for the future. So many congratulations to Izzy, and I think we now have a short video to show Izzy in action. Hi, Izzy. Hello.
Hi.
Hello. Well done. Just watching that video, I now know where Joe Wicks gets all his ideas from. He saw it first in Norfolk, obviously. So that's a place for you in the future. And on that, I said at the words that I was reading out about the fact that although you're well into your athletics as a competitor, have you thought about coaching for the future? Is that something you're interested in, that you'd like to do?
Yeah, I think so. I feel like it would be good to sort of, with my experience and with what I do, it would be good to help other people get into it. And
yeah, no, I'd really recommend it. I think I think the ideas that you had and reading the notes that people said about you, about all the research that you've done, I think you're a coach for the future. You've got to get your athletics out of the way first and make sure you achieve the best you can. But certainly think about it going forward, especially helping the younger ones as they come through. That would be really good. Yeah. Of all the workouts that you've done, what have been the favourites? What do you like doing?
So we did 4. There was 4 different ones that we mainly did. It was arms, legs, core, and cardio. So each session we would sort of do rotation and switch around what one we were doing. I reckon my favourite one was probably core, just because you could do different exercises and they're a bit more interesting, I guess, and you could switch it up quite a lot. But it, yeah, I also like cardio as well because it's a mixture of everything.
Right.
So cardio, although it makes you really, really sweaty and you get very hot, that's one of the best ones that you could do out of the four.
And are you back at the track now? Is everybody back at the track?
Yep, we were back on the track yesterday, and I've got training again tomorrow morning.
All right. Okay. All right. Well, good stuff. And what are you focusing on at the moment?
Pentathlon, so multi events. I did. I've got my running session tomorrow in the morning with my group, and then just sort of getting back into the routine of training again.
Right. Yeah, for real, and not doing it in the back garden anymore.
Yeah.
Well, many congratulations, Izzy. Well deserved. The first ever winner of the Athletics and Running at Home Award for the Eastern Region. So many congratulations. There is a nice award which will make its way to you. We're hoping to get them all out before Christmas. So you will get further recognition in the fullness of time. So many congratulations and thanks for joining us tonight. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Thanks,
you.
Izzy. Take care.
Well done to everyone else.
Thanks,
who
Izzy.
got shortlisted.
That's really kind. Thank you.
Bye.
Right, so moving on to the second award that I'm presenting tonight, and that's the Run Leader of the Year award. This recognises an individual who's demonstrated their passion and commitment for leading within athletics and running. And the runner-up for the award in the East Region this year is Keith Passingham of Flyers Southend. So many congratulations, Keith. I understand Keith's the founder of Flyers Southend and was described in the nomination as the go-to man who has time for everyone, wherever they are in their running journey. He's brought together a group of runners, and these are their words, not mine, of all shapes and sizes, abilities and personalities, who engender his philosophy of love and encouragement. I'm baffled as to how he has time for anything else. He's also a race director for a local parkrun and helped set up 2 more, whilst also setting up his regular Couch to 5K groups and advising on correct nutrition and running safety. So many congratulations to Keith Passingham. Oh, there he is. The technology is still working. Can you hear me okay?
Well, thank you ever so much indeed.
Well, thank you. Thanks for all you do for the sport. How did you first get involved in athletics and running? Is it new, or have you been doing it all your life?
I picked up running in my 30s, and I was a member at Pitsea Running Club for a long time, and then I moved, and after I was ill, seriously ill, I started running with a couple of friends, and their friends graduated, and that was really the birth of the Flyers in Southend. And we're non-affiliated group, and as you mentioned, we try and cater for everybody, to try and introduce them to the sport of running and all of its benefits.
Excellent. What sort of things do you do with the group?
Well, we've now got quite a large number of run leaders.
Oh, right.
And we've got them trained, and they start looking after specifics. We've got an effort session a week. We've got a long, slow run a week. We've got runs through the woods, trail running. We've got our beginners group, Couch to 5K. We've also now got a Flyers slow coach group, where the Couch to 5K graduate into the main running group. So we try. I think we've got a run virtually every day of the week, bar Saturdays when it was obviously park run prior to the lockdown.
And what sort of numbers then are you getting if you're running a different group? Are you got different people coming on different nights then?
Yeah. There were some that come. There's one person in particular, Anne Perdam, who's my go-to person.
Yeah, right.
A fair bit of the organising as well. but we range from just a handful of people. But prior to lockdown, we hired the track at Southend, and we were getting 40 plus at the track session, all abilities, and we were able to sort of break them down into different groups, and they were all working at their own levels.
Yeah, that's really good. And it's great to see the tracks then being used by non-track athletes, isn't it?
Yes, Southend, and there's another local school one we use during the summer, apart from the summer holidays. So we do try and introduce them to all aspects of running, and we've had people that started on couch to 5K. We've taken them all the way through to not only running marathons, but to ultra marathons as well.
Gosh, well, that's really good. That's really good. Well, many congratulations, Keith, on being runner-up in this category, and long may the successes down at Southend keep going. So thanks ever so much for all you do. Thanks.
Thank you very much.
Thanks, Keith. I'm now going to move on to announcing the winner of the category, and that is Samantha Holmes from the Run Fit Club. Samantha, or I'm not sure whether she prefers Sam, so hopefully when we speak to her in a moment she'll put me right, received a huge number of nominations. I think filled the England Athletics inbox. I've no idea if she has any idea how popular she is or how valued she is by the members of the group, but let me give you a flavour of just some of the words used to describe Sam. Sam is the most encouraging person and positive person I know. She's been an inspiration to many people. She makes everyone so welcome. She's dedicated to helping others improve. She's selfless and will always help anyone. I'll stop there, but there are so many quotes in the same vein. I could have taken up the rest of the evening. A lot of the nominations highlighted how Sam keeps the sessions interesting and participants motivated, and how she's organised a virtual relay during lockdown 1 to keep everyone running, and how she uses email and Facebook to keep everyone in touch. She encourages others to become run leaders or helpers, as Keith was saying, giving them the confidence in their own ability, enabling the Run Fit group to expand and so help more people. So many congratulations, Sam. And I think we're now going to run a short video about you and your friends. Well done, well done. Hello. Is it Sam or Samantha?
Sam. Hiya, you're right.
Okay. Hiya. Well, very well done. I particularly like that last photograph. I'm sure everyone, and you've seen it hundreds of times, but your mate sticking a tongue out at the back always makes me smile every time I see it.
Yeah.
But Sam, what's your running story? How did you get involved in the sport originally?
So back in 2018, I obviously put a lot of weight on, and my mental health was quite bad. So I decided to go on a bit of a fitness kick, and I started going to the gym, and I started running, and I absolutely love running. It improves my mental health. It helped me lose a lot of weight. I ended up losing 7 stone in weight. But when I was running, I was on my own, and I'm not a competitive person. So when I managed to do my catch 5K and I started to do a little bit longer and doing some park runs, I really like the idea of maybe setting up my own group that's non-competitive and being open to everybody. And also I wanted it to be free, because some people don't have a lot of money. So yeah, basically I started up the Run Fit Club back in June last year, and it's just got bigger and bigger and bigger. So yeah, it's really great.
Yeah, no, that's tremendous. That's tremendous. So what's your future plans then? Are we going to have Run Fit groups in every city, town and city in the country? Is that your long-term goal?
I would absolutely love to do that. I would love to make the Run Fit Club bigger and expand out. I mean, I've just added a walking group because obviously I know not everybody can run, and I want to try and get kids out as well. But yes, I would love to expand and take it further. That would be great.
Good for you. Good for you. But you say they're not competitive, but has anybody, do they take part in a few events? Have you got some park runners, some half marathon runners in there?
Do you know what? We had a couple of runners that started in January with us, and actually they took part in the virtual London Marathon with me back in October. So they took a big step and decided to go and throw themselves into a marathon. So yes, they are getting a little bit competitive, but it's teamwork. Whatever one wants to do, we all support each other and we get each other through it.
Yeah, I think you'll find that that's the running ethos. It's you just want the person next to you to do well. So long as they're enjoying it, then it's all good. But that's absolutely tremendous. Well, I really do hope that the Run Fit Club goes from strength to strength. Honestly, you had so many people saying lots of nice things about you. It was a pleasure to read them all. So I won't embarrass you by repeating all of them. But yeah, I used a lot of printer ink in running all the sheets off when pulling it.
Wow!
So many congratulations, and as I say, the award will make its way to you just as soon as the postman can get organised.
Okay,
so,
thank you.
Many congratulations. Well done, Sam. Well done.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. So we move on to the Run Together group of the year. We've done the run leaders, so now it's the turn of the actual groups. And this recognises a group itself that provides friendly, supportive and welcoming group running opportunities in the community. And I'm delighted to say that the runner-up in that category is actually somebody we've already mentioned. It's the Southend Flyers, and Keith Passingham is going to be here again. I'm sorry, I got that wrong, didn't I? It's the Flyers Southend. That's my fault. Apologies for that. As Keith was saying earlier, they're a free group with an age range of 10 to 80, fully inclusive, supportive, and encouraging to everyone. One person described it as being more than just a club. It's a foundation of friendship and family, or a social club that also runs. The group runs 2 Couch to 5K beginners groups each year and has set up its own charity called the Finish Line Fund, which supplies sports kit to underprivileged families and support to families who have been affected by serious injury or death. As we said earlier, the group has an active social side, and during the first lockdown, had regular charity virtual events to maintain the group spirit. They've encouraged lots of members, when they feel able, to complete the Leader in Running and Fitness course and lead more groups within the group. And here he is again, Keith, to tell us this time not so much about Keith Passingham, but to tell us a bit more about the group. I particularly, Keith, wanted to ask you about the charity. It sounds like a really good idea. How did you come up with the idea? And also, for my own interest, how do you distribute the proceeds from all your fundraising?
Well, we've unfortunately, it was set up in the aftermath of the death of one of our runners at the Southend half. He collapsed at the finish line, hence the name of the Finish Line Fund. And we wanted to perpetuate his name. And a group of us got together and looked at setting up a charity. We had to jump through lots of hoops, but just over a year ago, we got recognised by the Charity Commission, and we run a variety, or pre-lockdown, we used to run a regular inter-club quiz with the local clubs. We have a monthly handicap 5K, half of which the £2 entry fee goes to the charity. What we do now is we've got 2 objectives. One is to help out if in the case of somebody actually passes away during an event, the same as Nick did, to help out with the family. But the other one is a community aspect. We've funded first aid provision on a couple of runs. We've provided one of the local clubs with communication equipment. Our big projects that we've done this last year, we funded 2 defibrillators, which are now sited on the Southend seafront. It's a very popular area for runners. Another local charity is filling in a lot of the empty spaces, but we're making a presentation to Hare and Tortoise of another defibrillator on Sunday when we go up and do the reindeer run.
Yeah, right.
So we're tending to drift in that direction because Nick passed away so quickly in his 30s. We seem to be honing in on that sort of area to spend a lot of the money that we've actually raised.
No, well done. It sounds really good. So how long has the club actually been going?
I started it with one other person in 2001.
Right.
We were on a treadmill after I was recovering from 2 operations.
Right.
And I just hated the treadmill. And I said to the other person, I said, "Do you fancy going for a run outside?" And that's how it all started. We went on short runs, and as I said previously, friends joined us, and word got around. We decided to go for a nice bright colour. Our running gear, we're bright orange,
right.
And people just come up and ask, or especially since Parkrun, people come over and ask, and we run with anybody. We'll look after anybody. Nobody's left behind. Everybody will buddy up. It's great. It's great. Lots and lots of friends. Now,
it sounds similar to the group that I'm involved in. I love the ethos. I love the friendship, and it's great to hear that all these clubs, they've all got the same ethos. So it doesn't matter which town or city you're in. There'll be a group there that you can probably buddy up with and go for a run. So again, many congratulations, and I hope it continues to go from strength to strength. And well done on the fundraising, because that's just wonderful. Those defibs are just they are lifesavers at the end of the day. So, the more we can have, the better. So many congratulations once again, Keith. You're going to have a collection of certificates.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thanks ever so much. Thanks, Keith. Thank you. So I'm going to move on to the winner of the Run Together Group of the Year, and that is HLB Runners from Malden in Bedfordshire, led by Helen Bolton. The citation we received, just to give you a bit of a flavour about the group, it described the group as not only being a fabulous supportive group, but also inclusive of people from all walks of life joining together to run every week. I believe that running is a great leveller and accommodates anyone and everyone. And by what I've read about HLB Runners, they epitomise that ethos. The group decided, evidently, when COVID-19 struck, to fundraise for 6 charities over 6 months as their contribution in an incredibly difficult year. And I'll ask Helen a little bit more about that shortly. The group evidently has a big proportion of deaf runners as well, with one of the run leaders also able to side, so they can ensure that no one is left out and no one feels excluded. During lockdown, when the social elements moved online, the group ensured video calls were also signed to keep everyone involved. Well done, particularly on that. The group welcomes everyone, regardless of what pace runners are able to manage. They include jeffing and a member who speed walks with the aid of a walking stick. Members are all experts at looping to keep the groups together, another sign of a well-run running club. Another member perfectly summed it up best when she wrote, "Thank you for being an all-round, fantastically wonderful running group." So well done, HLB Runners. And I think, again, we have a short video.
I run with HLB Running Club. I run with them because they never leave anybody behind. I'm not a quick runner and never have been. In my previous running club, I was always at the back and I was always left behind, which used to stress me out quite a lot. but I feel I've made a lot of friends with this club and I really love it.
What does HLB mean to me? It means a chance to get out of the house. It's a chance to find some headspace. The world's a really busy place and sometimes the thoughts are just too big. But getting out, chatting with people, running with people that I'm glad to call friends, really does make a difference. So that's what HLB means to me.
My daughter and husband have said I'm a much happier and more confident person. I feel very fortunate to be part of this special group. It has helped me with my mental health and a recently diagnosed chest condition. HLB Runners is a very important part of my life. 2020 has been difficult for everybody, but we have been busy with challenges, virtual running and Zoom meetings and quizzes and bingo boards. Loneliness hasn't really crept in. We have kept in contact through Facebook, WhatsApp, Messenger, all sorts. We have run solo for some of us, one-to-one buddies and groups of 6 when we could. Under Helen's leadership, there is a strong bond. I'm so proud to be part of the HLB family.
It's 7 o'clock in the morning. We've just run nearly 6k and we're really enjoying it. I started HLB in January with Couch to 5k. Just finished it, then we went into the first lockdown. Then luckily Helen did a second Couch to 5k group when we could meet up again, and now we're running 3 times a week, between 5 and 8k, and Helen has been brilliant during lockdown, setting us challenges, just keeping us out running together. Katrina and I now run as a buddy.
Keep running because I love it. I love the group. I love the community. Everybody supports you. It doesn't matter how fast or slow you go. And it's just amazing for my fitness, but predominantly mental health. It gets me outside, whatever the weather, whatever the time.
So here I am, just back from a very late night Friday run. I cannot tell you what HLB Runners means to me. I've been running with HLB since the beginning, answering a little Facebook ad 3 years ago. They've kept me going through everything that the life has thrown at me through lockdown. Helen just comes up with the best challenges ever. I'm so grateful to be part of HLB. It's just keeping me fit. It's keeping my mental health good. What can I say? I love HLB Runners and they definitely deserve the award.
Wow. What can I add to that then, Helen?
Not a lot.
That's really good. Super. I mentioned in the citation the bit about the charity bit. Do you want to tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, so when obviously lockdown struck, we were still running, but we thought it'd be really nice if we could still raise a little bit of money, because previously we'd done things like annual soup runs where we'd raised money before. We've done cake runs and stuff like that, but we couldn't kind of do that. So we came up with the idea that we wanted to sponsor or support a different charity every month. So we put it out to group members which local charities they wanted to support, and we got a list. And then we just started doing like little virtual events, if you like. And we've collectively, we've run the distance from John O'Groats to Land's End. We've done a 24-hour challenge, run a mile on the hour every hour for 24 hours. We have done pass the baton, virtual relay race, and various things. And yeah, we've sort of supported local charities close to us in and around Bedfordshire every month. Yeah,
right.
Fabulous. I think we've raised nearly £3,000 now. So yeah.
No, that's very good. And it's just money that wouldn't have been without your ideas and the members getting involved. That money would never have found its way to those charities. So that's really good. That's really good. So how long's the group been going?
So we started in 2018 as a Couch to 5k group, and like Claire said in the video, it was literally a little shout out in our village that we're in. Does anyone want to come do a Couch to 5k? And it has just grown from there. So yeah, it's been 3 years in February.
Right. And what's your background? Have you been involved in running before?
No, I sort of went on a similar sort of running journey as I think Samantha did, in terms of, you know, just wanting to be a bit fitter, wanting to lose a bit of weight. I decided I'd do Couch to 5K myself, and really struggled on my own. And I went to a run club in Bedford. They were really supportive of me. And there was an opportunity for me to do my Leader in Running Fitness training because of supporting deaf people at Park Run. It kind of came up, and I went for that, and that was it. I just then decided that I would like to start an inclusive group where anyone could come. It wouldn't matter, you know, whether they walked, ran or jeffed or, you know, whatever. And it just needed to be inclusive. So yeah. And that's
so with the blind, deaf runners.
Yeah.
Is it you that does the signing, or is it another member?
Yeah, no. So it's myself. But although some of the members have also started to learn to sign, because we have deaf runners within our club. I think we have about 6 or 7 active deaf runners within the club. So yeah. It's really good.
No, that's really good. I have come across it before, and it's excellent when you can involve whether they're visually impaired or deaf. It takes it to another level, and it's really good when you can do that. Well, apart from the one other question that I've got that I wanted to ask you, apart from tonight, of course, obviously, but what's been the proudest moment in the life of HLB runners? And you can't say tonight.
I think just seeing everybody just do their own personal journey, whether it's someone that starts as a Couch to 5K runner and ends up like, you know, you saw Joe and Katrina that are out buddy running at 7 o'clock in the morning and doing 8K on a damp, misty morning, you know, whatever they do. I think it's just seeing how the group is just so good together, really, and what everyone does, isn't it? It's not just us, it's every single person within that group that makes HLB Runners what HLB Runners is. So yeah, I'm just really proud of that. I'm just really proud of the group.
It's the friendships, isn't it? It's the friendships. It's
the
people that didn't know one another and getting to know them.
Yeah, we only started it because we didn't have any friends. You know, set up a run club.
That's right. Good for you. Good for you. Well, many congratulations, richly deserved, and as I've said to the others, an award is on its way. But enjoy. Yeah, I thought that might be where you were going. Enjoy the bubble. Many congratulations, and thanks for all that you do. Well done.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot. Thank you. So I'm going to move on to my fourth and final award that I'm presenting in this half of the evening, and this one is for the athletics or running club of the year. And after this, we'll hand back to Clive. This award recognises not only the achievements of a particular club, but also their ongoing commitment and passion through the opportunities that they give all their members over the last 12 months and looking to the future. And I'm delighted to announce that the runner-up for the award in the Eastern region is Norfolk Gazelles. They're a club based in Norwich who welcome everybody and anybody of all abilities, adapting training sessions to suit their needs. They particularly look after new members, ensuring that a current member always runs with the new member on their first visit. Another club doing great things in the charity sector. During 2020, they've raised £10,000 for charity with a virtual event involving over 1,900 people throughout the country. The club encourages all its coaches to improve their coaching skills and qualifications by covering the cost of further courses, and also encourages the wider membership to be fully involved in how the club run. It supports its own Couch to 5K group to introduce new runners to the joy of our sport. And I'm hoping we've got Phil Whiting, I hope, who's the chair of, there he is, the chair of Norfolk Gazelles. Phil,
hello.
Hello, Phil. Glad you could join us. Many congratulations. That's a huge sum of money to raise. Can you tell us what the trick is so that we can all go and get on with it?
We've got some really talented people in our club, and we just spread the word on social media, and it just grew and grew. We were astounded by the number of people that were taking part. In the end, over the weekend, you could see people out and about in Norwich just running with their batons of all shapes and sizes. And although it was a virtual relay, it really captured everyone's imagination, and just seeing people hurtling down the road on their own, clutching, their baton.
Is that what they had to do? They had to go out and was it a definite, defined distance, or could they run however far they wanted to?
I can't remember the details of it now, but I'm sorry. But it just really captured the imagination. I think everyone just liked the idea of running with a baton.
When you see lots of people out and about, we had I think I mentioned it earlier in one of the awards, a virtual relay. I'm based over in Peterborough, you could tell out on the streets, you could see different people doing it. And I guess it sounds as though Norwich was the same thing. You pop out and suddenly you see all these people running around with something. Is it Kerry has joined us?
Yes, hi, yeah.
Hi, hello, thank you. You're the vice chairman of the club, I understand.
I am indeed, yes.
Yeah, thank you. Anything did you want to add anything about the relay event?
I think it was just a bit of a surprise, actually, the momentum that it managed to get in such a short space of time. But I think it captured a bit of a theme, really, of people wanting to get back together and do something in terms of racing, but not really knowing how. So it was a small number of people, as I say, in our club that managed to make it fly, really. But it was really great to see it, throughout the day, everyone progressing and getting involved, and certainly a number of our club who managed to put in a number of legs. So it was really great to see everyone get involved, really.
Right. And what have you done with the money? Where have you been able to direct the money?
The money went to I think it was Nelson's Journey. Actually, we've got a number of charities that it's one of the things that we pride ourselves. We have 2 races a year that we dedicate solely to charity giving. Normally it's voted for by the club, but on this occasion I think it was Nelson's Journey, which is a charity which looks after people that have been, or children that have been bereaved in Norfolk, as I suppose you know.
That's really nice. That's excellent. And how big's the club? How big are Norfolk Gazelles? What's the membership?
We're currently
about 180.
Right, and that's all ages, is it?
It's adults.
It's adults club.
Yeah.
And doing all distances, presumably, from park runs to ultras and all those sorts of things.
Yes, yeah, we cover all distances. We're, like the others have said, we're a really inclusive club. We try and offer really good coaching. We use the track in Norwich at the sports park, just because running around a track, it doesn't matter how quick or slow you are, you're still running as part of a club. And we've worked really hard to make it inclusive for everybody.
Tremendous. Well, many congratulations. I think that's a staggering sum of money to raise, and the award is due recognition to all those people who made it happen and all the good work that you're doing over in Norwich. So many congratulations, and thank you for joining us this evening. And
thank you.
2021 will be back on the open roads and running not virtually but all together again. So thanks very much for joining us, Jen.
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. I'm going to move on to the winner of the award, and that's a club known as Stowmarket Striders. So many congratulations to them. They are, as the name suggests, based in Stowmarket in Suffolk, another club that is available for anyone and everyone from 9 years old upwards. All the club sessions are described as being fully inclusive, and the runners are encouraged to choose a group to run with each week based on their 5K time. But if they want to work harder, perhaps they move up a group, or if they want an easy week, I guess they can probably drop down and give a bit of help to some of the other groups. The club coaches are always on hand to help and advise. When members are injured, they're still encouraged to come along to club nights, remain involved and help the coaches with the training sessions. prior to setting off each week, prior to setting off on their runs each week, I should say, successes from recent races are announced and awards presented to those earning new club standards. Volunteering in non-running roles is very much encouraged at Stowmarket, whether that be a marshal for a road race, a race director, or training to become a coach or traffic management operative. There's always a role for everyone, and I suspect everybody who's involved in this tonight will echo that. The club's worked hard during lockdown to provide training sessions via email to all who want them, along with virtual events to keep everyone motivated. All members of the club management team step down every year to enable a rotation of roles and responsibilities, and means that everyone can be active in how the club's run. So many congratulations to Stowmarket Striders, and I think once again we're now going to run a short video of them in all their glory. Great, thank you. Chris and Paul, thank you for joining us this evening, and many congratulations on being the Eastern Region's Athletics Club of the Year. Thoroughly well deserved. Many congratulations. It does sound, though, like you work really hard to involve everyone on how the club's managed. Do you find that with the group I mentioned, you all stand down, that is a good way of getting new blood to come through?
Yeah, I think so. I mean, good evening, and thank you very much to everyone that's nominated us. It's been really great, so thank you. And it's nice to have everyone's in the club's hard work, really paid off. I think that's lovely. It really is a team effort, I think, particularly so with the coaches and the committee and all those that help to run races and those kind of things, because everyone does their little bit. When we swap around the committee, we get new blood coming in with new ideas. It keeps it fresh. But also you've got some older members that are on the committee and the race directors and things that also can help to lead and guide the ones that are keen to try out new things. So it keeps it fresh, it keeps everyone involved. But best of all, it's down to the members, isn't it? It's the members that add everything to the group, really. They're the ones that come along every week, you know, in good spirit, even after a lockdown kind of thing, are dying to be there. We get oversubscribed at the moment because we're coming out of lockdown and we can only have so many members to each coach, because they're so keen to be there, to be with their peers, to run together, and similarly with races as well. We're not particularly the best athletics group with regards to results. We're certainly not the worst, but we, like everyone said this evening, we do like to include everyone as much as we can. I don't know whether Chris wants to add anything at all.
No, not really, Paul. Just that we enjoyed last night's first session back after lockdown, and yeah, much the same as Paul said. You know, the coaches and everybody else that worked so hard to put the sessions on is just great fun.
And you've got you've competitive in taking part in lots of events. Do you get the shirts out and about in Suffolk and further afield?
Oh, absolutely. It's certainly a field of yellow and black, I have to admit. Yeah.
I did think my club wears yellow as well, and it's a great colour because you can see it for miles.
Absolutely, you can always spot a strider coming along because of the colour.
That's right, spot a strider. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, what have you got? Any plans for 2021 for the club or going forward?
Well, I think, you know, most importantly, isn't it? It's getting everyone back to running, isn't it? And trying to get some regular sort of running training sessions, perhaps into races when we're able to do so to support everyone again. You know, it's going to be an interesting time, I think, in 21 really, and what's going to happen and how we all come out of it. We can only do small steps at the moment, start with the training sessions and gradually build, and hopefully as things ease we can all get everyone involved.
Yeah, but hopefully if all the clubs, as you say, if all the clubs take the little steps, those little steps will become big leaps and bounds, and we can get
absolutely
we can get the sport that we all love back together again. So fingers crossed. Well, many congratulations on being the Eastern Region's Club of the Year. It's one of the Blue Ribbon Awards. So you've been voted the best club in the Eastern Region.
Thank you very much.
2020. So enjoy that. It sounds really good, and pass on our best wishes to all the members when you can get them all back together and celebrate. So
lovely.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thanks, gents. Thanks ever so much. So that's the first 4 awards completed. Congratulations to all the winners and runners-up so far. I'm now going to go and find myself a beer, but I'll be listening carefully, and I'm going to pass back to Clive for the next section of the evening. Thanks all.
Thank you, Tim. Congratulations to everybody who's won an award so far. We're just going to take a little break now from the awards, and I'm hoping that this, I'm going to say young lady, is back from training. So we have got a special guest tonight, and we want to welcome and say hello to Sophie McKenna from Great Yarmouth. Hello, Sophie.
Hi, how are you?
I'm good. Good to see you.
Thank you.
How's training going?
Yeah, really well actually. This winter's been pretty good with all things considered. With obviously the restrictions with COVID and stuff, I've managed to carry on working through it. So I've been pretty lucky.
Good stuff. And I did see on social media that you do a personal best in training. Is that right?
Yeah, I've had a bit of a active recovery week this week. So in that week, we like to, test where we are, if you like, when I'm not sort of on the heavy weights. And it's gone really well so far. And Wednesday was particularly successful, and I've had another 2 PBs this evening. So if that's anything to go by, hopefully 2021 is going to be pretty good.
Okay. Can I take you back to where you sort of started though? Because obviously, I'm sure a lot of people would be keen to understand like your journey. So perhaps you want to tell us how you got into the sport and what you enjoy about it.
Yeah. So for me, from a very, very young age, have always really enjoyed sport. So my granddad was a professional footballer for Norwich City. So I was like brought up around sort of elite sport. That was kind of my life, if you like. And I played football from a pretty young age, but nagged my parents to take me to the athletics club because I liked sports day, where you used to do the races and stuff. So I went down the local athletics club, and I started off my life as a 100-meter sprinter. I was a lot smaller than I am now, obviously, to do that. But yeah, I started off as a sprinter and, won county medals and stuff, but I was never going to be sort of, your next Dina Asher-Smith. So my mum said to me when I was about 13, give the shot a go. And I was like, Mum, that's not cool. I'm not doing that, a typical sort of teenage response. And she sort of entered me into it was actually the Norfolk Indoor Championships. She entered me into and said, well, I've paid for it now, so you've got to do it. So that's how my sort of love affair with the shot put started, really. I came second at those county championships, but through nearly 8 meters, which with no training, I just sort of chucked it, not really knowing what I was doing. And that's how I started. And from there, I had my first international vest at 14. Representing England. So it kind of, I kind of got stuck with it, really. I didn't really choose the event for myself, but it sort of all worked, and I am where I am today.
And some of the highlights perhaps along that journey, obviously that's up until last year. So what would you say some of those key moments you've enjoyed doing, apart from being on this tonight, of course?
Well, of course, yeah. Obviously, there's been some really big poignant moments in my career. My first GB vest as a youth athlete. I went to Russia, and sort of I was a bit of an unknown entity because it was my first sort of international experience, traveling away for the first time without parents, that kind of thing. And I won a bronze medal there at the European Youth Championships. So that was really, really big for me. And then another one would be winning the silver medal at the European Junior Championships in 2013. That was huge. At the time, I broke the British junior record that year, so that was a great year. And then a couple of years ago, winning my first British title. I'd actually been to 12 British Championships without winning the gold medal. So I had plenty of silvers, plenty of bronzes, but never the gold. So yeah, to win my first British title after 13 attempts was pretty big for me. So that's got to be my career highlights. And then the obvious one is the World Championships last year, obviously qualifying for the Olympics, which was a career dream for me. So yeah, that's obviously the biggest highlight to date.
And of course, throwing in that special circle in Norfolk, every time you throw it there, that's always a special one for us as well. So great stuff. Obviously, tonight's all about volunteers. Perhaps, could you give us your thoughts on the volunteers in the sport?
Yeah, so obviously it's clear without volunteers the sport wouldn't run. From officials who make sure everything goes ahead the way it should, and how competitions run, and then from my personal experiences, all of my coaches have been volunteers. So my coach now, Mike, he's a volunteer. He's not in a paid role as a coach. So certainly without him, I would not be where I am in my career, and certainly wouldn't have had those highlights to date. So yeah, volunteers make the sport go round, and without them, none of it would be possible. So yeah, it's a massive thing for athletics.
Okay, great. And perhaps a final question then. So what's the aspirations for the delayed Olympics then? So are we going to see that 20-metre mark, or so give us a little bit of feeling for what you're going to do next year?
So for me, I was very lucky the Olympics was delayed. I had a really nasty injury last March. I ruptured all the ligaments in my ankle. So for me, a delayed Olympics was kind of the best result for me. So I want to break the British record, which is 1936. Obviously, that was done by Judy Oakes, one of Mike's former athletes. So that's my big aim, is to break that. 20 meters, maybe not the coming year, but hopefully in my career at some stage, I'd love to be a 20-meter thrower. So to get to the Olympic final, that's the big goal, and then hopefully in Paris in 3 years' time. This time, that'll be my chance for a medal. But never say never.
I will all certainly be rooting for you when you go out there. You know that. So fingers crossed that it's a successful time for you. Is there anything else you want to finally say, or perhaps inspire some of the people who are listening?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my career has been about always sticking with it, always working hard, and if you've got any young athletes or any athletes really, it's all about the perseverance and the hard work. So that's might not sound particularly inspirational, but that is the reality of it. That's the way to progress and push forward. So yeah, that's my.
Well, thank you very much indeed, Sophie. It's been a pleasure talking to you as always. And as we said, best wishes for next year, and fingers crossed for everything. Thank you very much indeed for coming along tonight and being part of the evening.
No problem. Congratulations to all the winners also.
Okay, so we're going to move on now with the rest of the awards. So the 4 more coming up now. So the first award that we're going to present is the Coach of the Year award. The runner-up in this category, we've already heard from twice, is Keith Bassingham from Flyers Southend. Hopefully he's going to okay on the screen in a minute. Oh, sorry, I need to talk, don't I? Sorry, yeah, it's my fault. Let's see. Well, obviously we've heard a lot about Keith already. It's some of the notes I've got here. Keith is there for everyone and everyone. He always goes above and beyond. He gives his time and knowledge freely and to anyone, regardless of experience or ability. If you're on a run with him, you know you're safe and you're being looked after. He's always available to offer advice and share knowledge and his experiences for all runners. It doesn't matter how fast they are or where they finish in an event. His knowledge and advice have been second to none. No question is too silly, and he answers them quickly and with some great suggestions. So it sounds, Keith, that there's obviously lots of coaching going on there. So what do you enjoy about the coaching side of the sport then?
It's really seeing the way people progress. People come in and they don't realise their potential, basically, and they end up doing things that they never ever thought they'd be able to do. And to sort of coach them, cajole them, talk to them, advise them, I just love that. My running career is on the downward spiral now. and it's just I just enjoy passing on some of the knowledge that I've accrued since I was running in my 30s.
So in terms of the sort of coaching, have you got sort of like coach development plans? Yeah, you want to become like a endurance coach or a sprint coach, or are you sort of just focusing on sort of encouraging people generally?
Well, I've got my coaching running fitness, and I've signed up for the endurance level 3, but I've got to kick myself up the backside to actually start it. And if that one works, I might look at doing the speed as well as the endurance.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how fast. Yeah, you've always got to be fast. Absolutely, so that's great stuff.
Definitely.
So, well, thank you much indeed. Obviously, but yeah, this is the 3rd time you've appeared, so you're clearly really well liked and supported by the flyers at Southend. So, thank you very much indeed, and congratulations, Keith, on a 3rd runner-up spot. Thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Okay, so now we move on to the winner of this category. The winner of this category is Mike Cutting from City of Norwich AC. Mike's been coaching for something like 25 plus years, which means he's probably delivered something like 10,000 coaching sessions. He's always there, doesn't matter rain or shine. So last night, for instance, I happened to see his coaching group, 30 young athletes on the back straight in the rain, and Mike was in there encouraging them all. He is greatly respected, and you'll see that one that will come through in the video by all the athletes he coaches. Predominantly young athletes. He's coached English schools champions. He went to Rio with the para team, and I'm asking a little bit about that when we get to ask him questions. He's always helpful, always asks advice for the athletes. How are they going in terms of are they enjoying the sessions? He reads upon injuries. The list of things I've got here, which I could say about, which is what Tim said on some other people, is endless. I think it's probably best that we watch the video, and then I'll have a chat to Mike. So here's the video explaining why Mike is the winner of the coach.
Mike noticed me running at a local sports day at the age of 9, and 15 years later I'm still competing to this day. Mike's ability to spot natural talent is incredible, and his passion and dedication to develop athletes is remarkable.
Mike has been coaching me for the past 8 years now, and I'm so fortunate because he's very supportive and extremely encouraging.
I would like to thank Mike for his commitment and dedication through all the years working with me.
Mike is very passionate about athletics and a dedicated coach. He's been coaching me for 8 years, and his sessions are very fresh and considered. All the best, Mike.
Your thoughts on Mike Cutting? Go, Ruby.
Fun and encouraging. He's dedicated to our training. He's the best!
Mike, I'm so happy I nominated you. You're one in a million and one of the most special people in my life. To me, you're the best coach in the world.
Hi Mike, good to see you.
Thank you.
That's some super tributes there. Obviously, I know a few of those athletes as well, so I'd imagine you're a bit made up with what's just been said. So that was really, really nice.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, it's really, really quite humbling, really. Yeah.
Just the questions. I was going to say, well, yeah, what keeps you in the sport sort of 25 years plus years after and out in the rain every 4 time?
I just think the passion, I just have a passion for seeing young people do well, and that's not just in athletics, as education-wise as well. I think that helps them so much. There's a lot to be said for sport, and I think that helps them in their education as well. I've always been a big believer it's important to coach the person first and then the athlete.
Great stuff. Obviously, one of your highlights was going to Rio with the para team. Do you want to just perhaps give a little bit of comments on that so that everybody else can understand what that's all about?
Yeah, that was an amazing thing for me. I think probably looking back is when I first went to Lyon in France, and I looked after Sophie Hahn. That was her first big major event abroad, and you know, I learned so much from her and so much from the team who were out there. That was really interesting. Obviously, Rio was really special. I had 4 years, and Paula Dan gave me that opportunity to do that for 4 years, and I learned so much from that as well. Just from the athletes as well, you know, their determination to do well. Rio was quite special.
Great stuff. And any other highlights in the sort of 25 years or so?
I think there's quite a lot actually, but
there's quite a lot, yeah.
But to see Cleo again, and you know, that was quite a journey, and to see Serena, but you know, all the athletes that they don't have to be elite athletes, they could just, you know, we look after everyone, and I think probably one of the highlights was Cleo winning English Skills. But having said that, there's been quite a lot of other brilliant athletes, and you know, it's nice to be remembered by a lot of them athletes, and I just hope I've got a few more years to do a bit more.
I'm sure you've got plenty more years, Mike.
I think the important thing is that, you know, like, it's not just me. I've had a team of the coaches who helped me, and you know, I couldn't possibly have done that without them. And could I just mention Ian Milroy, Liam O'Dell? We've had Becky Watkins, who's a year 2 student. She's come in and helped. But Nathan Rogers and Ellie Bandy, they were all a big help to me and a big support over the years. So, you know, this is as much for them as it is for me.
Well, congratulations, Mike. You certainly deserve the Coach of the Year award, and thank you very much indeed. And hopefully many more years of coaching ahead of you.
Hope so. Thank you to England Athletics. Thank you.
Okay, so the next award that we're going to present, or we'd like to present, is the Official of the Year. This award, as you can see by the title, is basically saying celebrating all officials. The reason why it says celebrating all officials is, unfortunately, this year we had no nominations whatsoever in this category. We could have easily skipped past this and pretended that the award didn't exist, but we think that would be a travesty to the work of all our officials in the sport. I'd like to ask everybody who's sort of listening tonight to really understand that if we haven't got any officials, we haven't got a sport. So please, next year, it would be great to have some of those people who work tirelessly in the field and on the track nominated. So if you could, just please, anything, perhaps just nominate officials next year. We've had 60 nominations in other categories, but nothing at all for the officials. And I think equally as importantly, within your clubs, can you also potentially look at encouraging new officials to develop? The stock of our officials is dwindling substantially, and as I've just said earlier, if we can't actually encourage more officials into the sport, then in a few years' time, we may not have a sport because we can't put any events on. In the last year, very unfortunately, in this area, we've lost at least 2 high-caliber officials in Fred Barwick and Paul Rutter, and also locally Coach Roy Thickpenner. All these people will be a great loss to our sport and will create a huge gap, which nobody at the moment is sort of coming through to fill. Hopefully we've captured everybody who's had this unfortunate situation, but if we haven't missed anybody, that's not intentional. We should have named everybody if we could, but we didn't know. So we certainly want to recognise these people. And I think it's only fair and right that we actually recognise the contribution of all our officials, and particularly these people who unfortunately are no longer with us. So can I just ask you please to join with me in a few moments of quiet reflection in terms of saying thank you to what our officials do for the sport. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, for that. Much appreciated. They are vital to our sport, so please, if you can, recognise their officials going forward. The next award we want to present is the Young Volunteer of the Year Award. In this category, we have an outstanding back history file. Currently, we have the national winner of the Young Volunteer from our region. The year before that was also from our region, and the year before that was also from our region. Two of those young people, in Rebecca Pickard and Liam Hunt, are now actually members of this council in terms of trying to help the sport develop further. And Abigail Pickard, who's last year's national winner, is now at university. She provided invaluable assistance in competitions and also further administrative work. So we have a long history in terms of young people development in this region. And I think most other regions are probably a little bit proud or would be proud of what we're trying to achieve in this area. So hopefully, I'm going to announce we're going to keep that going. So this year, the runner-up is Matthew Bailey from West Norfolk AC. Matthew is absolutely superb as a coach for the younger athletes within the club. He coaches from the start of age 8. He's very patient, good-humoured, and gets the very best out of the young athletes. As well as being a coach, Matthew is also now a level 2 field official. He's looking to qualify as a level 3 field official and is proficient in the use of EDM equipment. His level of commitment and support for the club and county is fantastic. To quote, Matthew is a major asset to his club and the wider sport. Matthew's going to appear. Yay. Hi Matthew, how are you?
All right, yourself?
I'm good. So, well, congratulations firstly for being runner-up and being nominated. So, do you enjoy the coaching more or the officiating more?
That's a good question. Probably the officiating most of the time, but you always got to have the coaching aspect of it as well, helping the next generation, like the coaches before me coached me to what I became. But officiating is always good fun, and like Sophie and everyone else has said, without the officials, you wouldn't have the event. So it's always good to have the ability to put back into the sport what people gave to me, and even to the next stage with the EDM, helping speed up events and making everything more efficient is such a good thing.
So in terms of aspirations, what would be your aspirations as an official?
I suppose, as you were saying, move on to level 3, help out my dad and the county a lot more, pushing towards level 3 and onwards, leading more events, and just bettering myself as being a volunteer to the county in the east of England would be probably the best place to start.
Okay. So anything like sort of higher levels in terms of officiating at GB champs and things like that? Is that where you'd like to possibly get to at some point?
Yeah, obviously, bigger stages will always be fun, like seeing the Muller Games and anniversary games, and like the televised events. It just puts another thing, and like even pushing on higher to like more international events. That's got to be something to always achieve, and hopefully one day I'll get there with commitment and that to the sport.
Great stuff. Well, thank you, Matthew, and congratulations again for being nominated and being runner-up. So hopefully we'll see you out in the field in this season coming. So thank you very much.
Yes,
indeed.
No doubt. All right, thank you very much.
And moving on to the winner in this category. So the winner of the Young Volunteer of the Year is Ella Robinson from Huntingdonshire AC. So Ella competes for a club and spends a lot of time mentoring the younger under 13 and 15 girls. She speaks to them weekly, plans sessions, including online fitness activities on Instagram, motivates and inspires the youngsters through competition. During lockdown, she travelled to do paired session with the younger girls and keep supporting them to make sure they were not on the road and such during that period. She has completed online courses on disability and mental health, and she is always around to look after and develop her knowledge. She also is very keen to actually help her school's team develop. Again, in terms of quotes, Ella's balances everything very well. The younger athletes love her. She's ready in the role and a role model and inspiration. And again, Ella's coach, I believe, is going to give some further details in the video.
Hello, Ella's coach here. Congratulations, Ella, on being shortlisted for the Volunteer Award. Ella is a 1 in a million young lady for someone so young. Not only does she compete to a high standard herself, having represented the county on many occasions and going to the English schools, she gives up so much of her time for other kids in my squad. She's done her assistant coaching award. She always has time to talk to other people, especially the younger girls and boys who often go to her for advice. During lockdown, she gave up so much of her time, sending messages, motivational, setting up quizzes for parents and children. She really is an incredible 17-year-old, and I am super proud of her, both as her coach, and as my one of my assistant coaches. Ella's got a huge future in athletics, both competition and taking it forward as a career. Ella, I am super proud. The squad are super proud, and you deserve all the accolades in the world. Well done, Ella.
Hi there, how are you?
Hello, I'm fine, thank you.
Good stuff. So we've heard back from your coach there, and obviously in the citation what you're doing in terms of volunteering. So what drives you as a volunteer then?
Well, I've always wanted to help people over myself. I've always, no matter, before I got my assistant coaching qualification, it was always something that I liked to do just to inspire the kids to keep on going, because throughout lockdown, it's been so hard, especially for the younger ones, not being able to see family or friends or go to school or do training. It's been really hard for them. So doing stuff during lockdown to try and keep them motivated, like the quizzes that I've done, it's just something that I like to do. Helping others is just something that I've always wanted to do.
That's very, very good. And what sort of aspirations have you got in terms of the volunteering, both the coaching and the officiating?
It's just an amazing thing to do. That I'm looking at my coach, especially, she's inspired me to do what I've done, and she put me up for this award. I didn't know about it until I got the email saying I'd been shortlisted. So it's just amazing. I love inspiring people and knowing that the kids look up to me. It's amazing. It really is.
Well, that's really great to hear, Ella. So congratulations on being the Young Volunteer of the Year.
Thank you.
And fingers crossed, if you get to the national final, you can keep the tradition going. So a lot riding on your shoulders. So.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Ella. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Okay. Next up is the Volunteer of the Year. So the runner-up in this category is Mel Brooks from Diss AC. So Mel got involved in the sport when she took her young children down to the local club and started watching. That then followed by thinking, well, actually, perhaps I can do a little bit of helping. So I think she started raking the pit. And then from actually thinking I could rake the pit, well, perhaps I could do this properly and be an official. So she then trained to be an official. Then also realising that the club hadn't got many coaches, she then got involved with the coaching aspect and became a qualified coach. Following upon that, there was also obviously the administration of the club, so she then became secretary. So really, she does most things for the club. She officiates, she's a coach, and she deals with the administration. So again, just some words from the citation. Mel is the club secretary, sorting out all the administrations. She coaches on a Tuesday and Thursday evening. Throughout the week, she coordinates with people for fundraising, making sure everything is up to date and in order. And in quotes from one of the lead coaches there, I would like her to get the recognition she deserves and to show how much she is appreciated by me and the club for all the hard work she puts in. The runner-up is Mel Brooks. Hi Mel, how are you?
I'm fine, thanks, Clive. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good. I'm good. I think Gordon's must have been the person who wrote this in, I would imagine. Yeah. So, what drives you then to be supportive of this AC?
Well, to be honest, when my son started at the SOC, it was clear there wasn't very many volunteers, and both my husband and I have been of the opinion all along that a lot of people have given up a lot of time for our children. Gordon gives up his time for our children to be coached, and it feels right to try and give a little bit yourself to the club. So that's how I started off. I didn't really have any wishes to be an official to begin with. But then again, it became clear we didn't have enough officials. So, it just felt right to pitch in. These clubs, a lot of people turn out to give their time to the athletes. And as I say, it just feels right that, the parents pitch in and give a little bit back to the clubs themselves.
That's good. And so, out of all the hats that you wear at the club, which one would you say you enjoy the most?
Probably the coaching. We've got some really nice athletes at the club, and a lot of them are just starting out. So, don't have much confidence, always questioning their abilities. So it's nice to try and, make them feel special.
That's good. And then conversely, what would be the worst one then? What's the one you do, but perhaps you...
I'm going to say officiating. I always feel so nervous when I'm officiating. And so, but, it's a job that has to be done.
Okay. Well, congratulations, Mel, in being runner-up. And, hopefully you continue and develop and more success in the future. So thank you very much indeed. And all the best for everybody at DIS.
Thank you. Thanks very much.
Okay, so moving on to the winner in this category. So the winner of the Volunteer of the Year is Peter Gooding from Harwich Runners. So apparently Peter works virtually full-time for the club. He's never missed a training night in 14 years since this person's been a member. He collates all the race results every week and calculates handicaps, club standards, club records. His advice and support is always readily given for any venture that you might take in athletics or fitness. The club has expanded substantially through Coach to 5K during the period that Peter was chair. During the COVID emergency, he's devised numerous different ways of actually challenging the team and keeping them motivated. He's always the first to arrive and the last to leave. From chairing club committees to being race director through marshalling, managing the club's social media and cleaning up after events, Peter gives his advice freely and supports all of the coaches to grow. He welcomes new runners and as ideas and always receives open-minded approach. And again, to sum the whole thing up, without people like Peter, no club can exist. And he's a shining example to us all. We have a video explaining all that.
Even right from the start, you could actually tell that Peter had such a love for the sport and everything to do with the Harwich Runners. He was always there at every single opportunity to give you some help and some advice. Back in 2016, when I first started running, myself and my wife, we actually went down to the local park run, and sure enough, Peter was actually down there every single week in the rain, the snow, the sunshine. You could always guarantee that Peter was actually prepared to give up his running and actually done all the timekeeping, or whether it just be marshalling or anything at all. He was always there to help the local people get running and keep their fitness levels up.
It's Peter's determination, dedication and care for all members of the club that has made Harwich Runners probably the best little running club in the world.
My earliest memories of Peter are way back in the 80s, when Harwich Runners were in the early stages. He quickly showed his ability to volunteer and help others. Before long, had become a good friend of the Thomas family. I remember him sharing a birthday party when Jodie was 1 out in the garden. And now he is guiding her through her running tips since she decided to join the running club at age 19, which Peter has been chairman of for many years. He never stops working and volunteering, and from welcoming all the newcomers, he also has never stopped giving praise to others. My son Ashley also ran, and so Peter has seen all 3 of us, Thomas family, go through the highs and the lows, mainly highs, as all the events he organises seem to work like magic. He gives up so many events that he could take part in and get the glory and the medals, etc., etc. He organises the race round the bay. Every year he volunteers to go out on the mud at Earlham's to be the marker for the runners to race out and reach him. He is a great family man, and his own children and his grandchildren now are all running, and spread lots of happiness and achievements to all us members and friends.
And my 2 main thoughts of Peter really are, the first one, his welcoming attitude to new members. When they turn up, he's always the first one to greet them. He finds out their ability, he matches them with someone else in the club, so they're not on their own while they're running. And the second one really is, Peter always tends to do a little 5 to 10 minute talk a bit on club nights, and it doesn't matter what your achievement is, whether it's knocking a second off your 5k time or you've just run a sub 3 hour marathon. It's all important to Peter, and no matter how big or small that achievement is, he makes.
It's weird for me because I've grown up with hearing stories of my nana running and growing up actively around the club as my dad ran and ran in races alongside Peter, and Peter was always around at birthdays and christenings in the garden. And now for me to be able to run alongside Peter is something that you can't really do in many clubs. I can't imagine a club that allows 3 generations of the same family to all run successfully in many events and many races, not only for the club but alongside Peter, while he gives up hours and hours and hours of his time, in fact his whole life, to make sure things like this can happen. It's such a family community, the club. I can't imagine my life without Harwich Runners in it, from the stories and then the races with my dad, and I was handing out water at like events and marshalling and waving flags and things, to now running in the same races with Peter is a real honour. So I'm proud and pleased that we've got Peter in the world, and Peter is part of our club to make things like that happen.
Hi Peter, you're on mute. You're on mute.
Right, is that better?
That's better, yeah, super. Again, some absolutely super comments there again in the video. I mean, why are you in the sport? I mean, you know, what drives you?
Well, you actually said I joined the club 14 years ago. I joined the club in 1984, and I've been on the committee since 1986. I've done 9 years as secretary, then 2 years as chairman, had a couple of years break, went back as vice chairman, and I've been chairman, I think, for about 17 years. What started me in the sport? Well, strange story. In 1981, I'm old enough to remember the very first London Marathon, and the following year in 1982, a lot of places all around the country started up half marathons, and the local Harwich half marathon ran past my front door, and I saw people who I'd been at school with, and I thought, well, they're never going to be able to run 13 miles. And anyway, 2 years later, I started it, and I found that I was able to run, and that's how I got into running, and I joined Harwich Runners that year in 1984, as I say. That's my story of how I started in running.
Yeah, and obviously you've had a huge impression on lots and lots of people based on the video. So in terms of, again, along that journey, in terms of some of the highlights possibly in your volunteering experience?
Highlights for me is always when someone who I've helped or pointed in the right direction achieves their goal, whether it's a sub 30 minutes, a sub 40 minutes 5 mile, or a sub 30 minutes 5k. It's an achievement, and it's great for me. Standing at, I can remember one particular Saturday standing at the funnel at the local park run where I was taking the timing, and I could see someone coming up and I was shouting out, 29:40, 29:45. And when the person crossed the line, they came back, took the time to come back to me and said, without your help in training, I've achieved a goal today, sub 30-minute 5K. Not that special perhaps to a lot of people, but to that person, it was a special moment in their life. And I was able to share that.
That's great stuff. I think that's really a theme through the evening in terms of people supporting each other. So that's absolutely great to hear. Is there anything else you sort of want to add in terms of your volunteering role that perhaps you found particularly challenging, or anything else you might like to say about it?
Well, continuing on that story that I told you about that particular park run, on the Tuesday night I was standing up at our local club, and Harwich Runners put on 10 or 11 races a year, plus various club-only races. And, of course, that means that almost every Tuesday night I have the task of trying to get people to marshal, asking for helpers. And I said, we need we're putting on this race, we need some more marshals, we need some more people. And something crossed my mind, and I said, volunteering is the best paid job in the world. And, of course, people said, you don't get paid for volunteering. And I said, people's gratitude and appreciation is priceless. And I think that's something that people ought to remember, that nothing compares to the buzz, the feeling you get when you help other people.
Absolutely. Well, congratulations, sir, for everything you've done in the sport, and congratulations on being the East Region Volunteer of the Year. So,
thank you very much. Thank you.
Not a problem. Thank you. Thank you, Peter. Okay, so we're on to the last leg, so the glory leg. I'll pass the baton to fellow councillor Matthew Dalton for the final award.
Thank you very much, Clive, and it's a great privilege and pleasure to be announcing the final award of the evening. In fact, the final of a series of awards which have been going on, of course, for the last few days and weeks all across the country. Those people on this call may not know that, but we're the final region to announce the Volunteer Awards England Athletics for 2020, and this is the final award of that series. It's getting late in the evening, and so let's move on. The final award, as it says on the screen beside me, is for services to athletics or running, recognising long-term outstanding service to the sport from an individual or group of individuals. And I'm delighted to announce a volunteer who, let's be honest, is getting quite a name for being a compere after his performance this evening. Congratulations, runner-up Tim Cook. Tim, it's a pleasure to be announcing you as the runner-up, as a local. In fact, someone very, very local, because someone on the call might know that you're the chairman of Warrington Joggers, and I sit in the heart of Warrington. So it's lovely to be able to award this over to you. You've been, it says in the citation we received, the chairman for 20 years. Having chaired a club for 5 years, I doff my cap to you, sir, because I know the achievement that will have been, and we can talk through that for a few minutes in a moment. The citation, though, reads, under his leadership, the club has grown both in numbers but also in range of abilities, from national level athletes to social joggers. Tim is also a coach for seniors and juniors. He's very keen to help new runners, and the club has a rota of volunteers to assist new people to get the most from the club and until they find suitable groups to run with. Tim is also the founder and leading light in GPAN, the Greater Peterborough Athletics Network, which brings together the main clubs in Peterborough. GPAN put on various sessions of instruction and training for club members. Tim, you've done a wonderful job this evening, and clearly you do a wonderful job as chairman of your club. I know you well, and I know how committed to the sport you've been over many decades. So it's wonderful to see you recognised. How did you get into the sport, Tim?
Well, it's perhaps a slightly different story. I had a close family member, cousin of mine, who's similar age, and sadly many years ago she died of a form of cancer, and that was back in 1984. And I was never particularly sporty as a kid. I used to love watching it, but wasn't a participant. And I thought I wanted to raise a bit of money in her memory, and I thought I'll do the Peterborough Half Marathon. Now, that was a major challenge for me, the idea of running 13 miles. I could barely run around the block when I started. And I have to say, I did do the training, and I hated every minute of it. I thought, this is absolutely laborious. Why on earth am I doing it? But I did that first Peterborough. I did, for me, my first Peterborough Half Marathon in May 1985, and I got the most incredible adrenaline rush, legal adrenaline rush, running up the finishing line on the embankment, desperate to break 2 hours, and I just loved it. I just loved the buzz of finishing, and I just finished and thought, where's the next one? Because if that's what you get for finishing a half marathon, I want more of it. And I still get the same buzz, and it doesn't matter whether I'm finishing the club handicap round Cuckoo's Hollow that you will know so well, or whether I'm running an international half marathon, because that's what I enjoy doing now. I get the same buzz, and I just love the involvement, and we've heard it tonight from people. I just like the participation, and that's my enjoyment. So that's my story. That's how I got into it.
The citation talks about volunteers, and we all know, not just because of this evening, but the work we do in our clubs, how important volunteers are. What's your trick for getting them and retaining them?
I don't know, because I'm desperately trying to find the next chairman of Warrington Joggers, and it's not proving the easiest of jobs. They tell me I've made a rod for my own back. I think it's about breaking it down into little components, and people have said to me, yeah, but you do this, that, and the other. Well, it doesn't matter if we all do a little bit, then we can cover off all the jobs. And again, if you take part in half a dozen events, perhaps the next one, just offer to be a marshal. There are lots of jobs within the sport that you can do that you haven't got to prepare for. Marshalling on a street corner is an obvious one. Just turn up and give your time, and let people enjoy the sport, and then it's your turn. Then it's your turn next time. So it's breaking it up into small components, I suppose, is what I would say, and don't swamp them at the first time they offer.
Quite. Well, you've been giving your time, Tim, for a long time, and here's the next 20 years, eh? Well done, sir.
Thanks so much, Matthew, and well done to everybody else who's been recognised this evening. Shows what a great sport we've got.
Cheers, well done.
Thanks.
We move on then to the winner in this category, and it's a delight. Frankly, it was a pleasure to announce Tim as runner-up. It is a delight to be announcing the winner of this category, Elaine Larkins. Now, Elaine, I know you pretty well, but I will be formal and read the citation. Elaine's been involved in athletics for over 50 years as an athlete, a coach, and an official. She's been instrumental in merging two clubs together, being Peterborough AC and Nene Valley Harriers, who have been rivals for over 40 years, now leading the merged club with much enthusiasm and passion. She encourages all the athletes to try their best, celebrates their successes, and consoles in their disappointments. She's always there to listen and lend a hand wherever help is needed. She's produced a monthly newsletter to keep everyone informed of events through the recent lockdowns, helping with monthly challenges, including virtual relays, to get everyone, including parents, to take part during this last challenging period. It's been hard for everyone to stay motivated, but her passion for the sport has really shone through. And now we have a short video of Elaine.
As a teenager, Elaine competed in the English Schools Championships. She joined Peterborough Athletics Club in the late 80s as a sprint coach and progressed to club secretary in the early 90s. Elaine soon became the focal point of all club administration. Her continued commitment and involvement in track and field during the summer, cross-country and road running during the winter show her commitment to athletics during the year. Elaine has loyally supported several club chairpersons during their tenure. During 2019, Elaine was voted club chairperson for the newly formed Peterborough and Nene Valley Athletics Club. She has a record of good organisational skills, is hard-working and has an excellent knowledge of athletic statistics. Elaine is dedicated to promoting athletics locally, regionally and internationally, and Elaine would make a very good recipient of any athletics award.
Elaine joined Peterborough AC in 1983 when she moved from Chelmsford, where she had been a member of Chelmsford AC. Elaine was a member of the Southern Women's League Division 2 Champions team in 1989, training with John Pool's squad at Peterborough before joining the late Maureen Torr's successful sprint squad. She stepped in to help with the team managing role while still actively competing. 1989 saw Elaine join the editorial team of Athletics Weekly, where she became PA to the editor, and 2 years later she qualified as a journalist reporting on athletic events from around the world. Such was her love and enjoyment of athletics, Elaine soon turned her attention to coaching and qualified as a sprint coach. When she felt her competing days were coming to an end, she qualified as a track judge so she could continue helping the club, which was very becoming her life. She is still a track judge, has qualified as a photo finish operator, and is quite often seen helping with the marksman's job when necessary. In 2015, Elaine stepped down from the club secretary role after 18 years to concentrate on the membership secretary post, having done both secretary and membership secretary roles for around 5 years. 3 years later, she stepped up to the role of vice chairman. A year later, she took over as chairman of Peterborough AC. Although she admitted it was a daunting task, she took it in her stride, and within a few months was already holding talks with the officers of Nene Valley Harriers, with a view to merging. A small subcommittee with members from both parties was formed. The two clubs have been firm rivals for around 40 years following the split from PAC by a handful of senior members who formed Nene Valley Harriers. In October 2019, the two clubs merged and became Peterborough and Nene Valley AC, and very soon after, Elaine had reached out to Cookery with a view to supplying the new club vest. A competition among the club members was launched to design a vest. One member designed the new logo, and very soon the athletes were wearing the new stylish vest. Cookery have invited Elaine to become an ambassador of the brand. Elaine dusted off her spikes and put on her club vest to compete in the last East Anglian League match at home of 2019, for the last time before pushing on with talks with Nene Valley Harriers, with a view to merging on October the 1st, 2019. Elaine has never sought the spotlight in her various efforts for the club and athletics in general, but the nomination for the Services to Sport Award from the East Region is a fitting recognition. Athletics in Peterborough has found a real champion, and Elaine has touched the lives of thousands of athletes over her near lifetime with the club.
Hi Elaine, just wanted to say congratulations on being up for this amazing award. I can't think of anyone else more deserving than you after so many years of putting your time and effort into such a brilliant club. I just wanted to say good luck and fingers crossed.
Now, Elaine, would you like to unmute yourself?
There you go.
Good evening, Elaine. Now, we've heard from James and Colin and Sam there. We could have heard from dozens, hundreds of our other colleagues. Before we talk through a few bits and bobs, I suppose I'd like to say a big thank you to you personally, because you've been a big support to me over the last 15 odd years. We've worked together for a long time, and you have, I know how committed you are to our club and sport, because you've shown that to me in our dealings over the last decade or so. So it's personally very, very, very a privilege to be handing this to you this evening virtually. But let's talk through a few bits of that last 50 years that I talked about in the citation. What about as an athlete, Elaine? Tell us about what it was like as an athlete. Little Birdie says you went to English schools. What was that like?
I did go to the English schools. I went to 4 English schools. Yeah, it was great. It was great. It was what we all trained for. I joined, Bury and Radcliffe Athletic Club at 11. The next year, I think that summer, I went to the first English schools. And it I don't know, it's just great to go do the march past. Even now, I tell kids, go to the march past. You've got to go to that. It's just, well, it's your Olympics while you're at school. It's your Olympic Games. It's great.
Do you have, moving on to the volunteering work, do you have a highlight as a volunteer over the last few decades, either as an official or as a coach, or do you have something that sticks in your mind?
Yes. When I was coaching, I had a young girl called Sarah. We did 400s. We went to the national indoor championships, and I knew that she was going to win. She's just such a determined young girl, and she came off that last bend down the slope, and I couldn't believe it. Well, she was, I don't know, even now I can still see her running that 400 and winning, and she did something that I'd never done as an individual, which was amazing. I mean, I've got a national relay gold medal, but that wasn't, that was a team. So that, I would always say, that's my highlight as a coach. I have officiated at the English schools multi-events. So as a track official, I guess that's another highlight. But yeah.
And now you're, as a citation said, and as Colin said, you're chair of the newly formed Peterborough and New Valley AC. As chair of Peterborough and now as the merged club, do you have any takeaways for people on the call who may be volunteers who might find themselves in that kind of role as the leader of their club? Do you have anything that you think you've learned as chair that as a takeaway that you'd hand over as advice to people going into that kind of role that you've learned over the years?
Never ever think it is your club. Clubs are about the people who help it. You just sit at the top of the tree and maybe you make some major decisions, but it's all from what your members want. Listen to your members. You're only there for them. You're not there for you to see how far you can get in the sport and how great you can be. As I say, you're just at the top of the tree and you listen, you work for them. It's their club. It's the members' club that you just happen to be heading up. It's not yours. Never ever think it's your club.
Well, thank you, Elaine. I wholeheartedly agree with that. It's been a privilege to finish the evening with this award. Many congratulations again, Service to Athletics winner Elaine Larkins.
Thank you. Thank you.
And now, before I hand back to Clive, who, as Eastern Regional Chair, will close the evening, we've now got a short message from the National Chair of EA, David Lodwick.
I would like to send my congratulations to all our worthy winners, runners-up and nominees. I would also like to say a big thank you to all of you who took the time to nominate someone and show them how much you appreciate their dedication. As a volunteer myself, I know that we do it because we enjoy it, but never underestimate the power that even a simple thank you from an athlete or parent can have. Since the start of the pandemic, our sport has shown great resilience. From the EA staff going above and beyond to provide us with guidance and online content, to the club volunteers devising ingenious ways to keep their members feel connected and active. A lot has been written about the negative effect of lockdown and isolation on mental health, and I have no doubt that the efforts of our wonderful volunteers have made a massive difference to people's sense of well-being. Looking forward to next year, at the end of January, we'll be calling for people to put themselves forward to join our band of regional councillors. These people, who are active volunteers like you, play a vital role in advising the board, staff and other decision makers on the issues faced by the grassroots of the sport, and help to ensure that clubs, athletes and volunteers remain front and centre in everything that EA does.
And thank you, David. And from a regional point of view, I'm just going to echo some of those words before we close. So I've got some thank yous as well. So we particularly need to thank England Athletics, obviously for all the tech tonight, for the awards, but also for realising the importance of volunteers in our sport and continuously organising these awards year after year. Normally we'd be in Bedford at the under-20 national champs presenting these, but obviously circumstances this year we can't do that. But again, I think the virtual version is perhaps something we might be considering doing going forward. At some point, England Athletics, hopefully, late January, will organise the national awards. Hopefully, if funds permit, that will come back as a proper event in 2021 in December or November and December. If you've never been before, I strongly recommend you go. It is a most amazing evening, celebrating the performance of athletes and the contribution of volunteers. So I really have got my fingers crossed that everything falls into place so that major event can occur again at the back end of the year. I would also like to thank my fellow councillors for all the time that they've had to put in to go through the 60 nominations and draw up the shortlists and then the shortlist into runners-up and to winners. And of course to everybody who's been part of tonight, because unless we have the volunteers in the sport, as we've said many times between us, there is no sport. So thank you very much for everything that you do to make our support a great success. At some point, COVID permitting, we're hoping to get most of these awards hand delivered. If we can't hand deliver them with a little presentation, they'll be in the post. We're going to do as best we can to actually come out and actually make these awards a small presentation with your club, depending on the guidelines that appertain at the time. And there's a few things to watch out for. So one thing we're going to try and do is some club forums in the East. So a combination of the East Region Council, you've heard some of the members tonight, and England Athletics. We're going to try and hold webinars in probably mid-January time to cover some material like the UK 12-year strategy, how England Athletics have worked through the pandemic and how they've had to restructure as a result of that, and to pick up on what Dave was saying, so to also explain what's happening in the East Region in terms of the council. You have to get elected onto the council, and I've been on the council for 7 years. I must say it's been a really good experience, understanding the link between grassroots and England Athletics. I would fully recommend it. You do need to be nominated to get on. But again, as a council, we're looking for a cross-section of sport, and at least 3 places will be available on the council in probably January, February. And then a couple of closing remarks. Congratulations to everyone who's been nominated this year. The winners will now progress to the national round, which we believe, I think, is going to be at the end of January. We wish them all the very best, and hopefully the East will come back with a few national winners. Thank you one and all for coming along tonight and what you do in the sport. I hope you've enjoyed these virtual awards, and I look forward possibly to meeting some of you again at the club forums in January. Thank you very much indeed, everybody, and have a good Christmas, as best we can in the current climate. Thank you very much indeed.